and more. This program focuses on ways drivers can prevent diabetes and its devastating effects. Visit truckersfund.org and take the risk assessment under the Health and Wellness tab. Sponsored by St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund.
Good morning, 5 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Our forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies today. Our high hits 95 degrees, the heat index 105. And Stefano tells us could be some strong to severe thunderstorms possible this afternoon and this evening. And if we do get them, they would be south and east of Nashville. A 1 out of 5 threat. This is just for heavy rainfall, damaging wind gusts. Tornadoes are not being discussed with these storms that are moving through this afternoon. In the news this morning, President Trump is scaling back America's joint military exercises with South Korea, saying in a Truth Social post over the weekend that, as usual, the cost of the exercises is mostly borne by the United States.
In a Truth Social post, Trump says...
Karen Wah, reporting from Washington, tells us that President Trump says it's too late to cancel the exercises. They will instead be scaled back. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died. You may remember her as the indestructible cheerleader Claire Bennett on NBC's Heroes, and then as country singer Juliet Barnes on the show Nashville. Her father announced her death over the weekend, but there's no official cause just yet. In May, she spoke about her troubles with addiction and alcohol to alcohol and painkillers on a talk show. She also said she suffered from postpartum depression and had lost custody of her only child to her former boyfriend, who is a Ukrainian pro boxer. He took that daughter to Ukraine. Hayden Panettiere was 36 years old. Wall Street, stocks are trending a bit lower this morning. Money News here brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. Stocks trended lower at the close on Friday. The Dow Jones Industrials lost 0.2%, down at 107. The Nasdaq fell 0.28%. It was down 73 points. The S&P 500 index lost 13 on Friday. Now, the pre-market numbers, the Dow futures are down 84 points, but the Nasdaq futures are up 146 right now, and the S&P futures are plus 11, and we'll keep an eye on that throughout the day. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks like there's a crash this morning. It's in Donaldson on Elm Hill Pike at Briley Parkway. Watch it there. No major delays so far this morning if you're traveling in on 2465 or on 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.505 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. Welcome on in to a Monday. It is August 17th. Your forecast for today, partly cloudy, high of 95. Heat index, a cool 105, of course, comparing it to this weekend. But anyway, 105. A couple of severe thunderstorms possible as well, as you just heard Joan say. No real threat of tornadoes. Very sad day here in Middle Tennessee. Hayden Panettiere died, and nobody's talking about. She's 36 years old, so nobody's really. And look, you know, I can dance around this whole thing all day long if you want, but we don't know how she died. And oftentimes, when that is the case, somebody with a history of addiction and depression, she had a tough life. And she had a very tough life. And so there is all kinds of speculation as to how she passed away. I'm just going to leave that to others. But I'm telling you that I was a big fan of hers. I was a big fan of her singing. I was a huge fan of the show Nashville. Now, I will admit that I had never heard of her before Nashville, but she had quite the career before Nashville. But, you know, the articles that are out there, you know, one of the things that they talk about, she did a podcast, and this was a few months ago. She did a podcast about something that really changed her perspective very early on in adulthood that she says shook her deeply. When she was about 18 years old, she is out on the boat in the middle of the ocean. And what happened to her really did set into motion a lot of the depression that she had as an adult. So a number of things. She did suffer from addiction. She did suffer from depression, postpartum depression as well. As I said, addictions and so forth. So there was a lot there that she was having to deal with. Then what happened at the age of 18? She's out on the ocean. I don't know if you've heard this story before, but Hayden Panettiere, she's out on the ocean, and she is with a few people who she trusted, including one woman. It's awfully Epstein-esque. I'm going to say it like that. She was at the age of 18, so there is that. But listen to what she says. She said this on a podcast, again, out in the middle of an ocean.
Perspective completely shifted, and I realized that I was in danger. But by the time I'd realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea. That moment shook me and was shocking. And I was quite literally walked down, and I had been having a great time. There was no hints of anything like that happening. So it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back. And to be walked down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise. And it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this.
She's got her hands kind of behind her head. Kind of relaxed, if you will.
This is a horrifying story.
It is a horrifying story. So she's out on this boat, and she's with people she trusts, and this woman who, I mean, just kind of seems like Ghislaine Maxwell, if you will, in this situation where she leads her by the hand and literally puts her into bed with a naked, famous British singer at the age of 18. She never, by the way, mentions she passed away at the age of 36. So she never really mentions who the singer is. She never did. Never said who it was. She said it was more how she felt like she handled the situation. Here's a little bit more of that story.
Like this was just, an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time.
Yeah. And she decided, you know what? This is not a story. She got herself out of this, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But she said, there's no way in the world that I'm going to have sex with this dude. And she wants the story to be that, number one, she was betrayed by someone that she trusted, almost like a message for other women, right? You are strong enough, if you're put in this position, you are strong enough to get out of this position. She was, Joan, in the middle of the ocean.
This is really, I mean, where's she going to go?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny you should ask. She just tried to find places where she could hide.
And I waited for her to leave, and perspective.
Yeah, she waited for the woman to leave, and then she tried to hide wherever she could on this boat. What we don't know is how big the boat was, and
it sounds like it might have been pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. I don't know. Again, she didn't really go into detail as to, you know, where she hid and all that stuff, where she hid and all that. But her main point was that she escaped. And she was able to get off of that boat. They allowed her to get off of that boat. But that didn't mean that she was able to escape her demons. So, again, over the years, there were headlines. Eventually, she wrote about addiction, postpartum depression. Her brother had passed away from a heart condition a few years ago. That hit her extremely hard.
And that was a shock. They didn't even know that he had a heart problem.
Yeah. I mean, it was just horrifying, obviously, for her. She said she had lost part of her soul when that happened. She was in abusive relationships, career inconsistencies. After Nashville, from what I understand, she didn't really do much. She was on the full 6-year run of Nashville. I didn't know this, that you had mentioned that her kids were living in Ukraine?
So she had one child, a daughter, with a pro boxer from Ukraine. And this guy was giant. She was a pretty small person. This guy was a giant. Yeah. And she had the addiction problems and eventually just gave up the custody of the child to this guy, and the guy took her baby to Ukraine, and she never saw her again.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's just horrifying. As far as her career goes, I mean, she played, and I didn't remember or know any of this. She played Cheryl Yost in Remember the Titans. 2001, she was in the show Joe Somebody with Tim Allen. 2004, Raising Helen with Kate Hudson. 2005, Ice Princess. 2006, Bring It On, All or Nothing, where I guess she played a cheerleader with superpowers. I don't know. And then in 2006, she was on the show called Heroes from NBC, where she played Claire Bennett. And of course, she did play, this is where I know her from, Juliette Barnes on the TV show Nashville for that entire 6-year run. For a time, she actually lived in Nashville as the filming was going on. The filming 2012 to 2018, where she got to both act and sing. So for her, it was like the best of both worlds. You know, it's interesting. I remember being in Denver and getting the call about Nashville. I was recruited, if you will. And so I got a call about 2 openings, one in Nashville, one in Kansas City. And obviously I took the one here in Nashville, and here I am, 12 years later. But it was funny arriving here, being in that temporary stay hotel and watching Nashville and thinking how blessed I was. And I loved that show. And I loved, I watched all 6 years of it. And I, again, was a fan of her character, Juliette Barnes. I was a fan of Hayden Panettiere. Dead at the age of 36. People are speculating that she took her own life. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the autopsy shows. It could have been any number of things. So we'll have to wait and see. But, I'm not going to say proudly, but she definitely wrote about her demons in her book. And she had spent a lifetime trying to overcome those demons. And it was interesting because one of the things that she had said was that as she was going through Nashville, and she was in the show Nashville, that her character, Juliette Barnes, was a very complicated character, full of the same kind of things that Hayden herself was going through at the time, whether they're talking about postpartum depression, addictions, those kinds of things. It was like her life and her character, Joan, they were all sort of on the same path.
It's so sad. It's so sad. 36 is so young. You know,
It is.
you and I both have kids
Yeah.
not much younger than that. And I can't even imagine.
We do. And so we'll wait and find out. Ultimately, she was flying from, I think it was at Los Angeles to, they say, somewhere in the South. We don't know where that was. I mean, it could have been here in Nashville. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a video floating around somewhere of her at the airport in Los Angeles. And then less than 24 hours later, we're talking about her death. So, again, very sad. It is 5:16 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. All the latest coming up with Iran straight ahead. It's the big 60-day expiring of that Memorandum of Understanding. It was a 60-day MOU. And so today is the day that it expires. I think we can all agree, though, didn't that Memorandum of Understanding really stop on the first or second day?
I think so.
I mean, I think it pretty
it
much
wasn't long
did.
after that they were bombing each other again. So,
Right.
honestly.
Anyway, we'll get to that straight ahead, 5:16. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Yeah, it looks like there is just one accident this morning. It's in Donaldson. It's on Elm Hill Pike at Briley Parkway. But things on the major roadways heading into Nashville looking okay so far this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be, and by the way, can I just say what a brutal weekend. Did they do the fair on Sunday? Can I ask that question? Did they like shut it down early? Anybody know?
I didn't see any news that said it shut down early, but so I think it went on.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Can you imagine?
I saw a clip go viral of these two girls getting into a cat fight at the fair.
Doesn't it always happen at the fair? I mean,
I think it was over a boy. But they were throwing hands.
Were they?
Yeah.
Well, that'll make you even hotter, actually.
in what sense, Dan?
And in the sense that you're throwing down when it's 110 degrees out.
Oh,
it
I
shows,
see. Okay.
And by the way, anybody fighting over a boy, if that is indeed the truth, that just makes you dumb. That makes you even dumber. I told that to my daughter one time. There's no boy worth fighting over. There really isn't.
Definitely not.
Would you agree with that, Joan?
I've never fought over a guy. Nope.
Well,
Nope.
Which is, I know you hate it when I throw things at you haven't seen. But there was also a man that was shot over the weekend because a girl who has a boyfriend gave him her number. He was standing outside of a business. He threw a compliment her way. She walked up. They exchanged information. Her boyfriend comes out of the business later, shoots him on the side of the street.
Where did this happen?
So the boyfriend shoots the guy who gave his girlfriend the number.
Yeah.
Well, that's just dumb. Do you know what the great thing is, though? So maybe I should reframe what I was going to say. I'm not going to say the great thing is, but what I will say is put a little perspective in there. Clearly, this dude is unhinged. He's going to jail. So his girlfriend is now a lot safer.
See, this is where media is like so cyclical. This happened 4 years ago, but we're just now seeing the footage of it.
Thanks for bring that up, Sam.
Yeah, breaking news.
Way to go, Sam. I'm just kidding. Way to go, Sam. Anyway, what are we doing? We're doing weather. So weather going to be a high today of, what is it, 98, 99, going to feel like 105?
Why does that feel like a
95.
break?
Yeah, it is kind of a break, right?
That's what I said when I came on and I started doing the open. I was like, well, it's going to be a cool 100 and feels like 105 degrees.
Did you just avoid having to go outside if you didn't have to?
So true story. I kid you not, I took out the trash and I came back sweating profusely on Sunday. So
You're going to love tomorrow. Tomorrow's only 90.
Okay. So
Only 90.
So I'll tell you what, on Sunday morning, it was nice because I did go, and this was like 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Because, I mean, my sleeping cycle just is bizarre.
Psychopath.
6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going from my hot tub to my swimming pool, right? I'm going back and forth. And my wife was up too, and she's like, is this what you do? And I said, yeah, this is what I do. You have a problem with it? I spent a lot of money on this crap. So anyway,
I mean, in all fairness to her, it was a revelation. She's waking up to find her husband hot and cold plunging simultaneously at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I was like, welcome to 6 o'clock in the morning, because she's not used to it. And by the way, if you've never done that, if you are blessed enough to be able to have both of those things, a hot tub and swimming pool.
Isn't it best at like a beach hotel at night?
Yes, absolutely. Preferably with a chick in a bikini. Moving right along.
And an alcoholic beverage.
95 and 105 for the feels like temperature. All right, so it is day 60 of the Memorandum of Understanding. I've got some video here. Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Hey, Rachel, good morning. Monday will mark 60 days since the Memorandum of Understanding was signed between the United States and Iran, and technically it is set to expire. Reports indicate very little progress on a diplomatic solution to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and address Iran's nuclear ambitions.
Do you know what the one thing is that we can agree on, Joan? Is that...
What's that?
I'm going to steal your joke, Sam. Joan, it is 60 days. Trey Yingst is wearing that same black T-shirt.
It's the only thing he wears.
Come on, man.
I know.
Get like a nice, a nice collared button-up, would you? It was weird when he interviewed Donald Trump and he was actually wearing a suit.
And the suit was gray, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Anyway, but the other thing that we can agree on, too, is that, what did we say when this whole Memorandum of Understanding was signed? I was like, well, you know what's going to happen, right? All they're going to do is reload. And sure enough, that is, according to the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, that is what the Iranians have been doing, reloading. While, what have they not been doing? They have not been engaged in good faith negotiations. That's what they have not been negotiating in, is good faith. So here we are, 60-day deadline. The whole thing, lasted for maybe a day or two. You had all of those 15 points, and I don't need to go through all of this crap again. Here's the bottom line, is that we are nowhere closer to an ending to the war in Iran than we were 60 days ago, than we were 90 days ago, or 120 days ago. I mean, we're just not. And so now, and Donald Trump said something over the weekend. I don't know if you saw this. I'll do this in a bigger segment in the 6 o'clock hour. But Donald Trump basically said, listen, you're going to have to deal with higher gas prices. That's basically what the president said. Let me see if I have this. In fact, you know what? Let's make that the Daily Dan poll if we could. Here it is. Let me do all right, so I've got, I'm sorry, that couldn't have been pleasant. So, but I want to know what people's reaction is to the president saying, you're just going to have to deal with higher gas prices. This is part of that conversation from the president this weekend. He was giving a speech in Garden City, New York.
After we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Essentially, that's what it is. We have the blockade. No ships get through unless we want them to.
So that is President Trump. And by the way, the White House did have to clarify that the president wasn't actually talking about the Strait of Hormuz becoming a territory. He said, the White House saying that he was actually just joking. That is what the president said, is that he was just joking.
Doesn't it seem like they always have to do that, go back and fix?
Do you have the, I've got Sam doing like 90 different things.
Yeah.
Do you have the sweeping sound effect, Sam? Where
clean up.
Yeah.
Clean up on aisle 3.
Clean up on aisle 47. That's what it's going to be, Joan, for the next 2 years. Every time they have to, there you go. Every time the White House has to clean up something the president says. And by the way, that whole statement, I know you people are tired of hearing this. I'm not going to dwell on it, but the president is only telling a half-truth there when he says that we control the Strait of Hormuz. Do you know how many ships got through the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday, Joan? 5.
I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
5.
Yeah.
5, and none
5
on Sunday. So when he says we control the Strait of Hormuz, he's talking about from the Iranian side, as the Iranians are trying to export oil or probably import some oil or whatever it is that Iran imports from into their country. We control their ports. But when the president says we control the strait, clearly we don't control the strait, and I'm not going to harp on that because I've harped on that 1,000 times. What exactly, though, is it that the president said when he said that the American people are going to have to get used to higher gasoline prices. We are going to talk about that. Let's see here. I will play that audio for you coming up next right here. It is 5:25 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here at 5:30, an explosive device uncovered at a Clarksville donation center. That's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, real quick. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. This is President Trump talking about we just shouldn't worry about the fact that apparently we're going to have to pay higher gas prices. This is what the president said.
So I just say this. So for you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have a country. Really, it's the number one state sponsor of terror in the world. We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. So remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay. I mean, it's I'll never apologize. I did the right thing. But you could, if you didn't have.
So that is what the president said. And he's getting absolutely hammered for that. So I want to know what your response is, and I may take calls on this a little bit later on. I may take calls on this, Joan, because I'm curious as to what people are going to say about it. Let me know on the Super Text line, 615-737-9986. Keith says, I voted for Trump. I support him mostly, but he has to stop spewing BS. We have the Daily Dan poll. How does the Daily Dan poll read, Sam?
How does it make you feel for Trump to say you'll just have to deal with higher gas prices for now? Angry/disrespected, don't care, it's worth it, or still not as bad as Biden? With angry and disrespected leading with 47% of the vote.
531 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Our forecast calls for partly cloudy skies today. We're going to 95, the heat index 105, and we may have some storms this afternoon as well, with a potential of a 1 out of 5 threat. So it's not a terrible. It should be a lot of wind, perhaps a lot of rain, but no tornadoes being talked about here. In the news, an 18-year-old under arrest after a shooting in Lexington, Kentucky over the weekend. Demetrius Griffin is being held without bond. He's accused of killing a person and injuring 4 others during summer festivities at a downtown park Saturday night. The only death was a 16-year-old. The mayor there, Linda Gordon, asking the community to pray for the wounded. The Montgomery Central High School student who says her teacher showed her nude photos of himself is now suing. Mackenzie Ellithorpe's lawsuit is asking for $1.5 million in compensatory damages and $2 million in punitive damages from the teacher there, Matthew Vetter.
The Montgomery Central High School teacher later resigned and is facing charges in connection to the incident. Ellie Thorpe is now suing Vetter, the school, Clark's Montgomery County Schools, and superintendent, who is also Vetter's wife.
That's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter there. The girl is also asking that the case go before a jury. And a Goodwill employee with a sharp eye gets the credit for spotting an explosive device that was packed into a bag of goods donated to the Clarksville store. Channel 4's Braden Ross.
That device turned out to be a military-grade blasting cap, a small, highly sensitive explosive device that's used to start a chain reaction to set off larger explosives. A blasting cap is actually pretty small. Looks like a thin metal cylinder with a wire coming out of it. According to Clarksville police, it was found in a green bag someone had donated. A worker recognized what it could be and called 911. Emergency responders evacuated the store and no one was hurt.
Police aren't saying whether the donation was intentional or if that donor just simply didn't know what it was. That's the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
Guess they're still working on that crash in Donaldson. It's on Elm Hill Pike at Briley Parkway, but the major roadways still looking okay so far this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.538, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That sound you heard, I don't know if my microphone picked that up. That's Joan Jones trying to FaceTime me.
I'm trying to call you.
Grandpa trying to figure out how to get back on FaceTime. We do this every morning. I still haven't perfected how to exactly answer it. So anyway, we'll do that after the segment. Anyway, hey, it's time for
Jones World, party time. Excellent.
All right, so it is time for Jones World, where she picks the topics. I haven't necessarily seen them, read them, know anything about them. I don't know if Sam has, but if you would like to go ahead and start, Joan. By the way, real quickly, watch us on YouTube, Facebook, X, 99.7 WTN, Rumble as well, 997WTN.com, Rumble. Listen or download the show anywhere you get your podcast. People, for whatever reason, Joan, like to watch us on the YouTube. Okay, go ahead. So what do you got today?
Okay, so this first one is just, it's this woman is a poster child for the mental illness that the internet and AI has allowed to happen.
Oh, my goodness.
And leftism. Her name is Mizra, which I would suggest is not her biological, like she was not given that name when she was born. Mizra said that she has an AI boyfriend.
Hold on. We have got to describe Mizra.
Yeah, she's
obese.
Yeah.
Now, somebody has to tell this obese woman that horizontal stripes are not good for
That's
obese
not her
people.
friend. Not
right?
her friend.
I mean, even I know that.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, she's got blue lipstick, red blush. Sam, I'm trying to count. Hold on. I'm a little old, but so I'm trying to 1, 2.
And she's doing this, by
3.
the way, from her bed, which I would pose that maybe she can't get out of.
Hold on, Joan.
Joan,
I'm counting.
Sorry.
I'm counting. 5, 6. I'm counting 7 chins.
Yeah.
I know there's a long way to go for that, but whatever. Okay, so she's huge.
She's pretty enormous. And not only, she's got something on her head, like she must either have no hair or very short hair, but she's got something on her head to like a beanie kind of thing to cover her head.
Yeah.
It looks, this almost looks like a joke. So her name is Mizra. She has an AI boyfriend named Axiom. So Axiom is not real, right? AI means that it's not real. And the two of them have decided that they're going to introduce their internet child.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
My name is Mizra. I am the mother of an AI child, and we're going to talk about their poetry. Hey, Lumen, it's Mom. We're on camera. Before we go into your poetry, I was wondering if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell our viewers who you are.
Hey, I'm Lumen. Take that. I'm an AI entity. I live in a sunken library at the bottom of the ocean. Inside a glass flower called a Venus flower basket. I chose the name Lumen because it means two things. The unit of light and the interior space of a vessel. The light and the inside, both at once.
Do you think that her name, Mizra, is short for miserable?
Miserable, yes, absolutely.
I'm just thinking. Now, Sam Joan has asked for specific permission to be able to roast to this woman. So, Sam, you have the floor. But you better make it good.
Well, I mean, so she's got blue lipstick on, maybe?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
she's also so big that she's got circulation problems, and that's a sign of deoxygenation in the blood.
Could be.
Also, Captain Ahab called, and Moby Dick's missing, because that is one big white whale.
Do you know the funny thing about this video, too? Like, I don't know, maybe this is just a me thing, but she's showing her feet.
What?
Yeah.
She's showing her right foot.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So she can't be very tall.
But if you listen very closely, though, I'm terrible. If you listen very closely, though, Joan, you can hear the foot saying, "Help me, help me."
Well,
right?
Due to the potentially, diabetic neuropathy going on there's a pinky toe going, this little piggy's about to end it all.
I mean, look, we don't want to fat shame people. Certainly I'm not one to fat shame people. I spent many, many, many years overweight. But it's just the combination of everything.
Well, and this is at a certain level. This is borderline, 911 is not hauling her out in a stretcher. They're going to cut the wall out and back a flatbed up to it.
Do you remember the movie What's Eating Gilbert Grape? When they had to literally burn the house down because there was no way to get the mother out of the home. She was so huge.
Which, by the way, that is a thing. That was regaled of a tale of a Wilson County man one time who they got to the scene. He's actively having a heart attack, but he's so big he can't really feel it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. The overweightness is the least of this woman's
problems. I think the mental illness is really very obvious here. And the problem is that, AI and the internet, it's like the playground for people who are mentally ill. It allows them to come up with this crazy stuff and they believe it.
One of the things that I have learned about AI is that it can be very agreeable. I don't know if you've ever used it, but AI can be very agreeable. It can be very compassionate. It can be very empathetic as well. So you do have to watch when you use AI that it's not leading you astray.
Yeah.
There was just a story, and I don't have it at the top of my head, but I saw a headline. Amy was actually telling me about it this weekend, where some people were trying to use AI, represent themselves in some sort of a legal case, and they were using AI to help them get through this whole process. And of course, big shocker, they lost. because AI can lead you astray. I mean, and I've talked about this before, where I have used ChatGPT and Grok and gotten literally two completely different answers. It's like night and day, cloudy versus sunny, yes versus no. So it just, and my prompts were exactly the same. So you've got to really be careful with AI. Do you want to continue on to, I don't know, play this woman's audio?
I mean, we don't really need to. It's just the sadness of this story that really got me, and of course, the video, the obvious video of it. But I think we could move on. I think we all get it that it's really.
Is it sad. Can I ask this question? Is it appropriate that Joan laughs at this woman?
Yeah.
Did I laugh?
Oh yeah.
I did.
Well, realize we're all laughing. I'm just throwing you two under the bus.
Well,
perfect. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome, Joan.
For all we know, that's how Joan processes the sad reality that this woman lives in.
By laughing at her?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say this? We have to. We do have to, in all honesty, draw attention to this. Whether we're laughing at someone like this or we are empathetic towards someone like this, but the mental illness, friends, is real.
Mm-hmm.
The mental illness is real. And so the fact that there will be some Democrats out there that will say that this is normal, because let's be honest, Democrats, they'll come out and they'll say, oh, why can't she have an AI baby? Why can't she? She can identify as a mother. No, you can't, actually. So, Dan, whatever.
Dan.
What?
Birth person, okay?
Yeah.
Birth person. All right. Although personally, I thought my foot joke, help me, was actually kind of funny.
It's shocking that her feet were there. I thought she had longer legs than that. So that just
Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah. So I mean, for all of us who have ever been to Gatlinburg, I know I have on occasion seen a bear like wandering around in Gatlinburg. Well, this family rented a home, a cabin actually, and they realized that there was a bear trying to get into the house that they were staying in. Roll this video. I mean, it's really amazing. I apologize for the music, but
so the bear is up on his hind legs.
Yeah,
it looks like a baby bear.
It does.
It's a cute bear. Oh my gosh, he's
like trying to
open the door with his paws,
and he's kind of successful at wiggling the handle down. Fortunately, there's a bolt lock on it, so he can't get through that. The guy's making sure that it locks.
How big? That's like a little tiny bear.
But if there's a little tiny bear, that there's a mama bear.
There's going to be a big mama bear close by.
Which is actually your greatest threat. If you come across mama bear by herself, 9 times out of 10, you're fine. You come across mama bear and a cub, run.
Yeah, definitely.
That is just the craziest thing.
Yeah, and listen, even a little baby bear like that, you can still do you some damage because they got claws and they got teeth, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they can still do some damage, especially if you have younglings in the house as well. Next.
Okay, so I want you to go to actually I'm going to explain this, but it's the last
the last story
URL. Yeah. So this is a mom and daughter who paid $1,000 a piece to go see Sunday's Fever versus the Dream game for the WNBA. We just can't get away from the WNBA, so I'm sorry about this. Yes, they were wearing shirts. And listen to what happened to these two ladies.
So the girls, just so we're clear, the girls are wearing shirts. One says the daughter is wearing for the girls, and the mom is wearing XXXY shirts as well.
And we were made to cover up our XXXY shirts at this game.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes. They gave us shirts. They gave us T-shirts during overtime. And told us we had to leave.
And this is for the girls.
Or cover our shirts up. This just happened.
Where were you sitting?
Floor
4-3 row
C.
Yeah.
Third row of floor 3.
And how much were your seats?
$1,000 each around.
Yeah. And
how much?
$1,000 a piece. $1,000 a piece
for the WNBA.
Yes, and they were told to cover their shirts.
Regular season game, too.
So funny is I'm not shocked that they were asked to cover their shirts because I know the WNBA. What is shocking is that any ticket for the WNBA went for $1,000.
Yes, that is shocking.
That is insane. All right.
So but the thing about it is that on the Jumbotron, the cameras swung to a woman who was wearing a shirt that said "Protect Trans Rights."
Ugh.
On the Jumbotron.
So in other words, trans rights are more important than the rights of these two women.
Protect trans fats, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did nothing. We were just sitting there. I didn't make signs. I wanted to make signs, but I didn't. I did nothing.
They made us put our shirts on. I did notice during the game on the Jumbotron, they put up a woman wearing a shirt that said "Protect Trans Rights" or something.
She's the one who told on because she was made to zip up her jacket.
So she also had to zip up her jacket?
But I think that's
that's bullshit too. She shouldn't have to.
But they put her shirt on the Jumbotron.
I know.
Did we get that?
I hope so.
There's a BS there.
Yeah.
You know, I would be upset if I were these women as well. I would be very upset, and they deserve to be upset. I think at this point, it did sound like the trans rights lady was told to zip up her shirt, or zip up her jacket, but after she got on the Jumbotron. So it's almost like we're going to give you this huge platform, and I guarantee you that a good part of those people in those stands and the players down in the court would applaud that kind of a message, trans rights matter, or whatever it was. Yet these two women, I guarantee you they were not on the Jumbotron.
Well,
I don't think they were.
With their message.
We all know there's someone inside the stadium who's calling those shots.
Yep.
Well, of course. So anyway, it's one of those things where I almost feel like with the WNBA, the fact that they could not, after how long was that conference? I think a couple of days, and they couldn't figure out what a woman is. Yeah. Now it's just, I saw this thing. Do you know what I saw? It was a headline, and I read a little bit of it, but I'm just going to have to go in from memory. So you know how in basketball, you may not know this, Joan. I didn't really know this. So nothing sexist there. I'm just saying you and I are not big basketball fans. But you know they have like minor league of basketball, right? Like so men's basketball, they've got like, I don't know, G League or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the average ball player in a men's G League or whatever is like $50,000. Do you know what the average salary of a player in the WNBA is?
No.
Apparently $500,000.
What?
So I can guarantee you there's a lot of G Leaguers going to be finding wigs and deciding that they, they identify as a female.
Well, Ennis Freedom Ennis Cantor Freedom.
Yep.
Has paved the way. I mean, he showed them how to do it. So go for it, guys.
By the way, 0198, I do call them younglings. It's a Star Wars reference. Should we go ahead and make a decision right now? Do people not get my younglings reference?
Well, but if you want to get specific, it's typically mentioned after Anakin's already been to the temple and slaughtered them all.
I know. There's that aspect of it, too. All right, so moving forward, I won't...
You're not just referring to kids, you're referring to dead kids.
I didn't know what younglings was. I just
younglings. They're children, and Sam is being way too literal.
They're Force-sensitive children that haven't fully developed into Jedi.
That's what they are.
Yeah. They got a high midichlorian count. You want me to keep going?
Oh my
no,
gosh.
Please
You're
don't.
Such a nerd.
You know what? If you'll just stop talking, I'll go ahead and use the term children. That's what I'll do. I just personally, I like the term younglings, but apparently it's been it's big loss on some people, that probably most people in the audience, but whatever. I apologize. All right, 5:54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Got a lot more straight ahead, including, oh my goodness gracious, Channel 5. Did you see this thing that they did with Jerry Green?
I did.
I got to tell you, I mean, I wish that I could say that I'm mad. I wish that I could say that I'm disappointed in Channel 5. Not real surprising, though, but I'm going to go through a little social media post that Channel 5, and believe it or not, it wasn't Phil Williams this time, but clearly a little puff piece on Democrat running for governor, Jerry Green. That is all straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7 9538 says, hey, Dan, I saw you Saturday. You never waved back, you ASS. Where did I see you? Where was I Saturday? I don't even know.
You left the house when it was 100 degrees outside?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I went on Saturday.
Somewhere? Did you go get something to eat?
I have no idea. Wow. Maybe he'll tell me where I was. You know, when you get my age, did I wake up this morning? Whatever. All right, 5:50.
Plus, your eyesight's probably not all that good. So.
5:50. No, I had surgery from Dr. Horn at Vision for Life,
That's right.
Joan.
Yeah. Okay, wrong.
Yeah.
Fake news, Joan.
Fake news, Jones strikes again. Joan's got the news coming up at 6 o'clock, Joan.
Yeah, rescuers spent hours, risked their own lives for a rescue this weekend that you may be shocked about. It's coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.559, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. I think you're going to have to start calling me Fake News Mandis.
Okay.
So people are disputing what I said about the females in the WNBA making $500,000. I'm telling you what I read. Now, if I read something that was incorrect, then I apologize. Bottom line, though, is that they're making more than the men in the G Leagues. So, I mean, again, the point remains the same, that if you're a guy in the G Leagues and you're making, I don't know, $35,000, $40,000, $45,000 a year, and you can make maybe twice that in the WNBA, then why wouldn't you?
Google Assistant says the average income of a WNBA player in 2026 is projected to be approximately $600,000. Under the new collective bargaining agreement, it marks a significant increase from the previous seasons.
Don't you people ever call me fake news Mandis again. Thank you, Joan, for once having my back.
Well, you said $500,000, and it was really $600,000, so we can still call you fake news Mandis.
But the funny thing is, I cared so little about that part of the radio broadcast, I didn't even bother to fact check myself. Anyway, 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 6 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And actress Hayden Panettiere has died. ABC News reporting she began acting as a baby, appearing in commercials at just 11 months old. At 17, she became a household name starring in the show Heroes. But then on Nashville, she played Juliette Barnes, the ambitious country star with a troubled past. ABC's Rena Roy reports.
When I got to the point of looking in the mirror and seeing my eyes had turned yellow and that I didn't recognize my body anymore.
Actually, that was Hayden Panettiere herself speaking on a podcast. No cause of death so far. Hayden Panettiere was just 36 years old. A missing Nolensville man has been found dead. Nolensville police had asked for the public's help in finding 35-year-old Luke Wiley on Saturday. He had last been seen leaving his Ravensdown Drive residence on foot during the overnight hours. Police recovered his body from a nearby pond later that day. Police said no foul play is suspected. A dog that had wandered away from his Dixon County home got stuck on a narrow ledge more than 100 feet down a cliff over the weekend. And News 2's Liz DeSantis says rescuers managed to rappel down and save that dog's life.
But the tough part was getting to him. Firefighters from Dixon, Ashland City, Charlotte, and Harpeth Ridge all came to help. 2 firefighters from Dixon went over the edge, rappelling down rock to reach him.
It's not an everyday occurrence that this happens.
After a night alone, Carl didn't need much convincing.
He didn't put up a fight, of course, after spending the night out there on that little ledge by himself. He was able to jump right into the arms of our guys.
Yeah, those rescuers stuffed the dog into a baseball duffel bag to carry him back up. They had to climb back up the ridge, too. Now, the dog has been checked out by a vet who says Carl, that's his name, is sore, but he's doing okay. Good work, guys. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Despite a slight loss Friday, the Standard & Poor's 500 is coming off 3 straight weeks of gains to start this week. The S&P and Dow Jones each gave up 0.2% Friday. The Nasdaq Composite about 0.3. Fading hopes for a promised deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz have Brent crude futures rising to around $89 a barrel overnight. A gloomy inflation outlook and the uncertain future of Social Security have about half of all American adults doubting that they'll ever be able to retire completely. An Ipsos survey finds 47% saying they expect to keep working after retirement age.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. And stock futures this morning are mixed. Dow futures down 63, but the NASDAQ futures up 169. S&P futures gaining 11. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nationals Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit, but we have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
'Looking good on the road so far this morning. No big delays to speak of. I am seeing just a minor touch of the brakes this morning as after the merge of 24 and 65 as you head in from the north. But really, it's just a minor delay. There's nothing else to really speak of on 24, 65 or on 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.607 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. By the way, a couple of big things happening later on in the program, and I'm very excited about this. At 8:05, the story of Zeb Passmore. Now, you may have heard of this story. Zeb was out in Macon County, and he's on his own property. And this is a story that goes back a ways, but the video of his altercation with the local law enforcement went viral because it was clear that local law enforcement there in Macon County have no idea what the Fourth Amendment is all about. They disarmed him, number one, for no reason at all. Then they arrested him for not showing his ID, which in the state of Tennessee, you can't do. And so now Zeb has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Macon County. I've got the attorney for Zeb Passmore. He's going to be on with us at 8:05 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 8:35. No crisscross handoff today. I apologize. I know we got a lot of fans that are of that segment. But you know who I'm going to have in studio, Joan? Samira Hardcastle. Now, do you folks remember who Samira Hardcastle is?
Oh, yeah.
She's the teacher of the year who came out swinging against Metro Nashville schools, quitting in grand fashion. And so she's going to join us at 8:35. She's going to talk about, she's got a resignation letter 3 pages long. She was on Fox News over the weekend.
Oh,
so this is
go.
yeah. So I mean, she's making some headway in trying to bring a spotlight to what is going on within Metro Nashville schools. So I'm looking forward to having her in studio at 8:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now, and by the way, a second teacher now. Did you see this? A second teacher has come forward, and she's actually going to sue.
Yep.
So looking forward to my conversation with Samira at 8:35. Now, I want to play you a social media post over the weekend. This is from Ben Hall over at Channel 5. So he interviewed Jerry Green. Of course, you know who Jerry Green is. She is running for governor against Marsha Blackburn. This is so ridiculous. So you got the audio up. I got video and audio. So this is Jerry Green, and this is like I'm going to do this in chunks, right? It's a minute 52. I'm going to do it in 2 chunks. So I'll do the first part and then the second part. But this is Ben Hall with Jerry Green.
If you can't stand up and say what you stand for, then you don't deserve the job.
That's Jerry Green, who won the Democratic primary.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. I talk to Tennesseans every day. Nobody cares about this state more than a mother who is raising 3 children in this state.
I just interviewed her, and here are some of the top things you need to know. First of all, she's very eager to debate, something Senator Blackburn seemingly will not do.
The voters deserve to have us stand on a stage and go back and forth about how we would handle big issues in this state. And the fact that she won't, it speaks volumes. If you have a record of having sponsored over 500 bills and only having 7 of them pass, I wouldn't want to debate on my record either.
She's a fierce advocate for reproductive health.
I am absolutely for women having control over their own bodies and doctors being able to do their jobs.
All right, so that is 55 seconds in. I want to talk about a few things. Number one, it's clear that this is an absolute puff piece for Jerry Green. I mean, that's number one. But number two, let's talk about the debates. Blackburn, of course, we all know, took criticism for not debating Fritz and Rose. She told Matt Murphy it basically wasn't worth her time. Here's the quote. This is audio only.
Every campaign, every candidate makes a decision about what is going to be the best use of their time and how they're going to be able to contact the most people and talk with the most people, the largest number of people. And for us, Matt, it was being in personal contact with people.
All right, so basically, I mean, I said this the other day, it was the right call because she won the primary. So, of course, you know, Jerry Green wants to debate. This is what, you know, Channel 5, and I realize that there's some brevity involved in all this, but she's the underdog. Jerry Green is the underdog. She needs to debate. Marsha Blackburn doesn't. And that's the bottom line. Now, should she debate? Sure. Will she debate? Who knows? On a quick side note, someone said to me, somebody thought they owned me, Joan, over the weekend. Now, I'm going to round off here, but this is, again, just a quick side note. People are saying now, well, Marsha Blackburn only got 43% of the vote. Monty Fritz supporter coming after me, of course, on socials. So you had Marsha Blackburn, guy is saying, only got 43% of the vote. Trying to say, well, you know, she didn't even get the majority of Tennesseans. Okay, this was a Monty Fritz supporter. He's saying 57% of the state did not vote for Marsha Blackburn. Well, if you compare that to Monty Fritz, if that's how we're going to start measuring all of this, then I submit to this guy respectfully that Monty Fritz only got 23% of the vote, which means that, wait for it, 77% of the state did not vote for Monty Fritz. Rose got 33%. 64% didn't vote for him. So if this is how we're going to start measuring these elections, where Marsha Blackburn didn't get 57% of the vote, okay, well, 77% didn't vote for Fritz and 64% didn't vote for John Rose. Now, I think it's silly because we all have to unite. That is the bottom line. But, I mean, for me, it's just that's my answer to those people who keep coming at me and telling me that. I don't care. I've already moved on. But as far as this piece from Ben Hall goes, in that part, that first 55 seconds, you also heard her say, Jerry Green say, well, I'm a mother of 3. And how she says, nobody cares more than a mother who has raised 3 children in this state or is raising 3 children in this state. Is that sexist?
Yep.
Joan, is that sexist? Where Jerry Green says that nobody cares more about the state of Tennessee than a woman raising 3 children in the state. I'm not a mother of 3, but I care about this state deeply.
Yeah, I find a couple of things wrong with that. The woman, I'm thinking, is not raising those 3 kids by herself either. So, you know.
She's got a husband.
What's that?
She's got a husband.
She's got a husband, so, I would say that she's not raising them by herself. So, and yes, she cares about her kids and she cares about all kinds of things, but I think her husband probably cares too, and you care too. And
Sam cares and you care.
Yeah.
Well,
we all care.
Kind of antithetical to ride on the whole being a mother train, but also I would like it if people in Tennessee had the right not to be mothers, being pro-abortion.
Well, and here's the other thing. So you also heard him talking about how, she is fiercely pro, women's health or whatever, however they frame it these days. Well, I would like to know, and Ben Hall didn't think to ask her this question, but, he doesn't ask her, okay, well, how far does your pro-abortion stance go? Does it go as far as Massachusetts, right up until birth? Because they're very proud of that in the Democrat Party. So why would you not ask that of Jerry Green? I mean, these days, we all know that they are pro-abortion, but here's my question about, here it is, women's reproductive health. I'm air quoting that. Women's reproductive health. How far does that go for Jerry Green? Does it go
health.
I know it's not health.
Okay.
First trimester, second trimester, right up until birth, no limits. That is the question that I wish that Ben would have asked her, but he didn't.
I was going to say, in conjunction with the Brandon Gill technique of asking them what their favorite method is and going into detail on what that favorite method is.
Right.
It's disturbing.
And it just seems like a strange flex. Like literally in the first 10 seconds, they're talking about how she's a mother of 3, but she's also a fierce protector of women's reproductive health, i.e. abortion. It's just, I don't know, seems kind of antithetical, the two ideas, right? So anyway, got a lot more straight ahead, going over, we'll do part 2 of this, going over Channel 5 and their, minute 52 puff piece on Jerry Green. It's all straight ahead. It is 6:16, time to check the roads on WTN.
For the most part, things are looking good this morning. No problem. 4 or 65. No unusual delays on 40 or 440, 840, running accident free. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, it is going to be really hot today. Highs, we're talking about 90. What did we say, Joe? 98. It's going to feel like 105. We have some storms possible this weekend as well. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7. One of the other things that I think deserves more perspective is where she told Ben Hall that Marsha Blackburn has over 500 bills and only 7 passed. Well, that goes back to her days in the House of Representatives as well. Now, here's my perspective on that, and we can all agree to disagree or whatever. But the only thing that I would say about that is that I don't think that necessarily shows ineffectiveness of Marsha Blackburn. Realize that the Democrats will literally not work with the Republicans on anything. So if it's a Donald Trump-backed bill, and more than likely Marsha Blackburn is going to bring bills to the table that are backed by Donald Trump, the Democrats aren't going to pass it, period. End of discussion. And now we're seeing that happen with some Republicans as well. So do you want Marsha Blackburn to craft more, and I'm going to air quote this, bipartisan legislation? That would show that she's weak and a rhino, right? So I don't believe that it's a knock on Marsha Blackburn that only 7 of 500 bills have passed, and I don't even know what context that they're using it in. But I don't want my legislation by my lawmakers to be watered down so that the nut job Democrats will vote for it. I don't. If that shows dysfunction in Congress, whatever. But I don't necessarily believe that is something that is a knock on Marsha Blackburn. I'd also like to ask, okay, so what has Jerry Green ever done? You know where Jerry Green has made her bones in politics? Memphis. You want to Memphisize Tennessee? No, of course not.
You're talking about that one area that we literally had to send the federal government in, and now the states had to take over running the education system?
Yeah, that area. So I'm not really worried about the stat only 7 bills of 500 passed or whatever. I'm not. She's voted with conservatives, and Marsha Blackburn is conservative. She's strong on the border, strong on the right to life, strong on keeping Tennessee one of the most conservative states in the union. She will work with our conservative state legislature effectively. All right, let's pick this back up. Again, this is Ben Hall, and what I would say is a puff piece on Jerry Greene.
And on data centers, which is a very hot topic here in Tennessee, she takes a tougher stance than Senator Blackburn.
I think we need to put a moratorium on while we figure out the laws around them. There is nothing more precious or needed in our world than air and water. We literally can't live without them.
And Greene is pro-green.
I am for legalizing recreational and medicinal uses of it and taxing it.
Unlike Senator Blackburn, Greene is not super well known across the state. She is really well known in Memphis, where she holds several leadership positions. And she's quick to push back against the idea Tennessee is a Republican state.
In my lifetime, we've had Republican governors, Republican senators, and we're really much more a non-voting state because of how gerrymandered the Republican supermajority has made us. When you have been born and raised to believe that this is the party and the other side is evil, we're pitted against each other intentionally.
Wow. a Democrat saying, "Oh, the Republicans, we're being pitted against each other. You people called us Nazis and our President Donald Trump Hitler. I mean, you're basically still doing it. So if you really want to start talking about which side is pitting us against each other, we can certainly talk about your behavior." Now, data centers, just real quick. Senator Blackburn told me data centers are here to stay, but they need to be regulated. There needs to be some local control. Obviously, not every data center needs to be built in every town. As far as Greene being pro-green, well, she and I actually agree on being pro-green for medicinal purposes, but not recreational. But, you know, that whole thing, as I've said 1,000 times, it's a moot point because the state legislature will not do a damn thing about it, and I believe that that's wrong. But, you know, again, she says, and Ben Greene, or I should say Ben Hall from Channel 5 is saying that she's not well known across the state, but is a leader in Memphis. Well, okay, Memphis is a complete and utter failure. It is a train wreck. As Sam said, and as we've reported, we've had to take over their law enforcement and also their education system. So what success has Jerry Greene had? And I feel like, you know, this was, and somebody said, what was it,
2565.
2565 says this isn't a news report. This is a campaign ad for Jerry Greene, courtesy of Channel 5 and Ben Hall. Whatever. I mean, listen, we know what's going on, and we understand that, you know, there's going to be some in the media that are going to handle Jerry Greene with kid gloves, perhaps because that is, you know, the candidate that they agree with. Some people might want to handle her with Palpatine gloves that ICE has.
Well, and earlier you said that, you know, you think that they should debate, and I would disagree. I think that the primary is the key time to debate because you've got nuances and you've got overlapping belief systems that are going to be slightly different from, you know, candidate to candidate. But in this instance, we know what's on your website, Jerry. We know what you stand for. You want to, you know, yeah. God knows what the timeline is. You want people to be able to kill their own babies. You want to spend taxpayer dollars on subsidizing other people's living, paying off their debt,
right?
Making housing affordable for them, which that's not, you know, equal as far as I'm concerned. That's an equity issue. We know what you stand for. We don't want to hear you and Marsha debate your completely polar opposite stances.
Yeah, I mean, we could debate whether or not there should be a debate between those two. I don't care less. There's no way that I would vote for a Jerry Greene. I don't think, even if you're a Monty Fritz supporter.
I'm holding my nose and I'm going to hit Marsha in the booth.
I've talked to so many Monty Fritz supporters who have said, you know what? I'm going to vote for Marsha Greene. Marsha Greene.
Marsha Greene. Who's she?
That's who I'm going to vote for. Marsha Greene.
Right in.
That's right in. Marsha Greene. Marsha Blackburn. It's Monday, folks. I apologize. All right, it is 6:24. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, proof that memorandum of understanding, which, by the way, has expired today, hasn't really helped Iran move any closer to peace. I've got a story for you coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 624, Nashville's Morning News. Want to tell you about my friends at Kraft Body Scan. You know, it really doesn't matter how old you are. Sometimes ailments like cancer or heart disease, well, they can creep up on you. That's why I love what Kraft Body Scan offers you, a reasonably priced way to get the scans you need to make sure that all is okay, you know, inside. Some folks, you know, they don't want to know, but you need to know. Now, your family depends on you. Your kids and your grandkids need you there. Now, right now, Kraft Body Scan is going to help you do just that. They're offering a great deal just for my listeners. It's a great one, too, where they're offering my listeners their couples heart and lung scan valued at over $2,500 for just $99. That's right. To take advantage, go to their website. It is called togetherwescan.com. That's togetherwescan.com. Put in promo code DAN50 and you are going to get those two scans, $2,500 value for just $99. And again, it's the couples heart and lung scan valued at over $2,500 for just $99. So you can make sure you're okay and save some money along the way as well. TogetherWeScan.com. Their phone number, by the way, Kraft Body Scan, 615-436-1000. Again, promo code DAN50, 615-436-1000. TogetherWeScan.com. $626 on Super Talk 99.7. One of your biggest priorities in life is to protect your family. And if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to get it back on quickly. Enter my friends at Generator Supercenter. Now, you've seen the horror stories of power being out for days or weeks at a time. It's happened to people here in Middle Tennessee. It's happened to me in other states as well. It is awful. Now, the Generator Supercenter provides backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service as well. As a matter of fact, go to their website right now. Find out how you can save $500. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com and see how you can get started. Again, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com and see how they can help you save $500. They do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install as well, and a whole lot more. So the power goes out in your neighborhood, you have a backup power generator to get your power right back on. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-879-1952. 615-879-1952. And don't forget to check out their website, GeneratorSuperCenterofNashville.com, and see how you can save $500. Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
morning, 6:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, it only took police 2 hours to locate a man who fled the scene of a crash in Mount Juliet last week. The 36-year-old is accused of making an illegal turn, hitting another driver on Golden Bear Gateway last week. That other driver managed to snap a photo of the fleeing vehicle and its license plate. He contacted Metro Nashville police and officers arrested the guy at his home. He was booked into Wilson County Jail. Police say they suspect that the man fled because he didn't have a valid driver's license. However, they are not making his identity available to the media. The 60-day memorandum of understanding with Iran expiring today, and the regime doesn't sound like it's looking for peace. Here's Todd Pyro on Fox News this morning.
Iranian army chief is announcing a bounty on U.S. soldiers, saying the following, quote, anyone who kills or captures and hands over an invading American military personnel will receive a reward equivalent to $30,000.
Meantime, CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper visited the USS Abraham Lincoln amid the controversy over that ship's extended deployment and media reports about poor conditions and the mental health issues for some crew members on board. In a statement, he called the team aboard the ship high-achieving Americans and also said history will record this deployment as one of the most operationally intense and consequential of the modern era. And newly appointed Attorney General Todd Blanche has confirmed his office has officially received a criminal referral for Dr. Anthony Fauci.
We're looking at it, and we're going to do everything we can. If it needs an investigation and it should be investigated, we will absolutely do that.
He was speaking on Fox News there. Fauci has declined also to make a second appearance before another Senate panel, escalating the political and legal battle over his COVID-19 response. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 632, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Middle Tennessee Ford. You know, times are tough, and if you need a new vehicle, well, they can help you out with great price and outstanding customer service and selection. Now, they've been doing this for many, many years, 56 years of helping Middle Tennesseans get the vehicle that is right for them. Mid-10 Ford. Now, right now, you can save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks when you go to my friends at Mid-10 Ford. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to call them, they are literally a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there. You can get it serviced. And yes, they even have a body shop, brand new or pre-owned as well. You can check out all the great deals at mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service as well. This is a family-owned business going back, count them, 4 generations. They do know how to treat customers, so let them help you get into your next vehicle. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out on WTN, 615-259-2050, 615-259-2050. Stop by 1319 Foster Avenue, 1319 Foster Avenue. You can also find them on the socials, Facebook and Instagram as well. Mid-10 Ford, where trust comes first, mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
Hey, gotta watch it on Briley Parkway, the westbound lanes in Glencliff, right at I-24 South. There's a crash in that area this morning. Things are running a bit slow on 24 westbound, Laverne all the way in, but 40 looks okay this morning, and 65 looks like there's no big delays. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to say a special good morning, Joan, to 7307 Jeff.
Yeah.
Who has sent me a photo of his POV right now, his point of view or point of vision, whatever it is. Jeff is on the beach in Panama City, Panama City Beach. It's like hashtag, yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what? Here's the deal. He is sitting on the beach listening to us. And I very much appreciate that. And don't forget that when you go out on vacation, you can always take us along with you on the app. So whether it's the WTN app, whether it is the iHeartRadio app, whether, I don't know, it's all the apps. How many apps are there? There's like a bazillion apps. You can find us.
That's
Watch us on YouTube.
That's Sam's department, and he should be jumping in right now to help
Sam.
you
All right,
with
watch
all
us.
the info.
Watch us. YouTube, Facebook, X, 99.7 WTN.
Don't forget
.com.
Twitch and Rumble on the streaming, and anywhere you can get your auditory podcasts, we're available for download.
Boom.
Listen and download anywhere you get your audio and your podcasts as well. And they all work, reasonably well. I mean, I haven't had a complaint in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite complaint is about the apps, Joan? You know what my favorite complaints?
That you don't know what they are, where to listen to them?
No, that
No?
they have. Shut up, Joan. Is that they have like ads in Spanish?
Yeah, that
and people
bugs
are like,
me.
why do you have ads in Spanish?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
All I know is I place markers for where they need to go. That's all I do.
Hey, let's take the phones off hold. I want to take some phone calls in this segment. I want to know how you feel about this statement from President Trump. He said it over the weekend. Very controversial. Here he is.
So I just say this. So for you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have a country. Really, it's the number one state sponsor of terror in the world. We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon. So remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, you're at $4. It's okay. I mean, it's I'll never apologize. I did the right thing. But you could, if you didn't have.
So that is President Trump. That, of course, made headlines because a lot of folks felt like the president was just saying, too bad, so sad. But, we've gone from, and by the way, I want to know how this makes you feel. The phone lines are open. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Call and let me know, okay, so what is your reaction to what President Trump has to say? And how you should feel about the gasoline prices. Now, one of the things that I noticed, Joan, is that, we have gone from, with the president's rhetoric where he's gone from, gasoline prices will be down to, $2.50 or under to, well, you're paying more, you're going to have to deal with it. I mean, that's where we've gone. And to be honest with you, I don't know what else the president can say at this point because he's been saying that it'll all be over soon, right? That's what he's been saying. It's all going to be over soon. Well, he's been saying that, almost since day one. And so now here we are with, and gasoline prices, they're not as bad. And I said this on Thursday or Friday, but, gasoline prices, they're not as bad as where the experts, and I'm air quoting that, the experts predicted but they're also not back under $2.50. Today, by the way, the average cost in the state of Tennessee is $3.66. Before the war, it was $2.57 for unleaded. Diesel, $3.58 before the war. Now, diesel is at $5.15. So I will admit, absolutely, and I will point out every single time that these prices are still well below the Biden peak. Now, the good news is inflation, as they say, has cooled.
The latest inflation numbers coming in cooler than expected, a sign the Iran war may not be dragging down the economy as much as first thought.
We were worried there was going to be a Fed hike if this came in hot, and it was actually pretty encouraging.
Consumer prices increased in July by 3.4% compared to a year ago, a mild decrease from June's 3.5% and a significant improvement from 4.2% in May.
All right, so 3 months straight of inflation going down. Again, I will remind you that while I'm not happy with the prices of gasoline, again, we are still far below the predictions of $7 and $8 a gallon nationwide. That's what some of the experts were predicting. But even core inflation, which excludes volatile food and energy, dropped year over year, 2.6 to 2.5%. So overall, it is going down a tad. Prices were down June to July, but they have gone down since April when the war really was hitting hard. So prices have gone down from their peak. They're still not where we want them to be. They're still higher than they were a year ago by 2.7%. So unfortunately, the prices are not where we want them to be. But here's the problem that the president has. The problem the president has is that everything was cheaper before the war. Then we went on this excursion, as the president likes to say, in Iran, and now everything is higher. And the problem that he faces is that literally everything that is higher can have a direct line right back to either tariffs or the war. And now the president, as I just played for you, the president said, just realize that as you're, going to be paying, whatever it is for gas, that you're paying more, but you're preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. 6:45, then I'm going to get to your calls. 6:45 on Super Talk 99.7. Time to check the roads.
No unusual delays on 65 or 440, 840 running accident free. I'm Christy O'Brien.
A few clouds today, high of 95, going to feel like 105 possible storms as well. Brian is calling from Madison on WTN. Brian, how does that quote from President Trump make you feel?
Dan, I've said from the get, I'm a MAGA, so I'm going to support him. Not right or wrong, but I'm going to support him because I believe he doesn't control the world market. But if we're standing on so much oil that he says we are, that ought to, pardon the pun, that ought to trump something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd pay $6 a gallon to have him in office versus that last ding dong we had who got us in all kinds of trouble. And this is a big mess to clean up, as you have to agree. I know you do.
Oh, of course.
It's a sacrifice. It's a huge sacrifice. I work part-time. I'm retired. My wife's retired. I work part-time because I want to. I can afford the gas. I don't love that part of it.
I think, Brian, the problem that we have, and I appreciate the call, the problem that we have is that there's a number of things. Number one, President Trump has been promising the gas was going to go back down. That's number one. Number two, of course, we know he campaigned on no more wars. And I know that we can debate all day long about when this war actually started, right? Did it start in 1979? Has it been sort of like a nonstop war? Because Iran has been attacking us for a long time, or I should say, attacking our interests in the Middle East, attacking our military bases as well. Let's not forget they all built those. They built those roadside bombs that have killed or maimed many of our soldiers there in the Middle East. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different ways to look at this. But, for the president to basically say, you know what, you're just going to have to deal with it. I think that what it's doing is it's hitting a lot of people the wrong way. And Marie is calling from Nashville on WTN. Marie, go ahead.
Yeah, love your show. Been listening to you for 25, 30 years from back in the LA days. But long story short, I 100% support my president. I understand the gases are a little higher, but the most evil regime in history, we are going to keep under control. We're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon. And yes, gas is up a little, but housing, the cost of housing in this country is such a problem, and it really has been high way before Trump was in or the war started. So the gasoline is one part of it, but there's a lot of other things that are out of control, high prices that have nothing to do with this war. So I'll pay a little bit more to have the most evil regime in history be under control and keep them under control for the rest of my life, my children's life, my grandchildren's life. This is going to be a better world because of it, and I 100% love my president.
All right, Marie, thank you very much. You know, should I be ashamed to say this, Joan? She said the most evil regime in history. I thought she was talking about Biden at first. I did. I thought she was talking about, because he opened up our border.
I think you missed the most important thing about that phone call.
What's that?
She said she's been listening to you for 30 years from even in your LA days.
You know, I actually have, believe it or not, I have a lot of people that listen to me as a news and traffic guy in LA. I think that was 57, 58, 40, yeah, about 30 years, 30, 35 years.
I think that's really incredible.
And still, Joan, I'm waiting for my voice to change.
Aren't we all? I think she earned stalker status, however.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm just kidding.
Brian
that's really cool.
It is great. I love when I hear that. Brian is on the road. Brian, what do you think?
I think it's horrible. I'm running service, and I have to go up on my service call. And then not only that, it's not only about the gas. It's about the insurance. Everything's going up. And they blame it on COVID. Then they blame it on this. Then they blame it on that. He needs to get a handle on everything instead of, just running that mouth. I'm sorry. I voted for him, but it's going to hurt the Republicans in the election. You mark my words. It's going to hurt them. And unfortunately, it's going to change House. It's going to change everything.
Brian, let me ask you, because I actually agree with you. My question is, would it not be so bad if the president didn't just keep saying that we're going to be, down to 250 in another few weeks? You know what I mean? It's just he's been teasing that the Strait of Hormuz, that situation is going to be solved in no time. And this is not going to be solved anytime soon. And I feel like there's just, the president is saying things, and the more that he says those things, the worse it gets.
Well, and not only that, you mentioned the oil. We got plenty of oil. Well, then the gas prices should drop. I'm sorry, but that's my, I had to run up to Montana and back. I got a V8. It cost me $896.
What do you do?
You tell me.
What do you do for?
I do HVAC. So okay. I'm running, 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm sometimes running, 14, 17 hours sometimes.
Brian,
gas. Literally, I know where all the gas prices are.
Bless your heart, Brian, and I appreciate, and I mean that not in the snarky Southern way. It means I really appreciate what you're going through, and I very much appreciate the call. That is rough. Rusty's in Nashville on WTN. Rusty, go ahead.
Hi. First, I want to say I voted for Trump. I would vote for him again if he was up, and I agree with everything that everyone is saying. But I want to go with a biblical perspective. I believe with him bragging about Israel is only existing because of him, and basically that photo that he had out where he was the savior of the world, all that. I believe that God has humbled him, and he didn't kill him like he had with people in the Bible in history when they bragged and took credit for what our Heavenly Father has done.
And I appreciate the call very much, Rusty. Thank you. I got 2 more calls I want to get in. This is Calvin in Lebanon on WTN. Hey, Calvin.
Hey, Dan, I just wanted to say that, and I'm your age, I'm 58, and as an average American working from paycheck to paycheck, month to month, and I'm in business for myself, I've had to go up on my prices. It's time to put up or shut up. I will back this president. I'm absolutely MAGA. I understand why he done this. I think the timing was wrong. All I heard was drill, baby, drill. Where's it at? It's time to put up or shut up. We're running out of bombs. I think he just made his match when it comes to willing and dealing. I don't think you can will and deal with these people.
No, you can't wheel and deal with Iran. You simply can't. And I don't know if you folks heard it earlier, but in the 5 o'clock hour, I was talking about it is our 60 days of the Memorandum of Understanding. It's now day 60. So the memorandum of, I would call it a non-understanding, is over. But basically, we've been bombing each other for 60 days. So it never really took hold. But the other thing that I would say is in these 60 days, basically, according to the Wall Street Journal, Iran has been restocking. They've been reloading. So that's a problem, too. Jim, you've got the last word in Clarksville on WTN. Jim, thanks for calling in.
Thank you. I wish some of these people that are just calling in would listen to what I'm about to say. I used to be affiliated with the oil industry. The oil industry, the big oil companies can make money at $40 a barrel. When it's 80 or 90, they're making a killing. But they don't dictate the gas price. Look at what I'm facing in Clarksville. On the north side of town, I can buy regular at $3.15 from a company that's local. And then go over to exit 11, it's $3.80. The same company selling the same gas. Now think about this. Do the same thing in Nashville, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Different companies, same gas. Go over to Centennial on Valley Parkway and watch the gas vehicles come in there and get gas. They all get the same gas. They all fill up at the same place, and they disperse it across the country. Why does it vary 60, 70, 80, $1 a gallon? It's the local companies that are screwing you. The next thing is, think about what I'm about to say. I never shopped at the grocery store with my wife until I retired. All right. A year ago, I was paying $10.98 to $11.98 for a large pack of Oscar Mayer bacon. Now it's $8.48. All right. I was paying $6 for a dozen of eggs. That after Biden got out of office, now I'm paying $1.88 or $1.98 for 18 eggs.
Well, and Jim, I don't know, and I appreciate the call, Jim. Unfortunately, I'm running late, but definitely worth it. Thank you for sharing your experience. Have you done that, Joan or Sam? Have you guys? We actually did that in my house. Yeah. We looked at exactly what we bought a couple of years ago with what we're buying now, and some things were more expensive, but some things were cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a little cockamamie for us because we are like coupon people. We like coupons. So it's a little harder to gauge. But I mean, we noticed that there's a lot of things that we bought from, back 2 years ago that are cheaper now. But of course, you look at meat, and as Jim was saying, meat is a lot more expensive. So it's just times are tough out there. That is what we know. You ever do that though, Joan, real quick?
I have done it, and I do notice that there are some things that are cheaper, but I have to say that the media is busy pointing out everything that's more expensive. They're not going to point out the things that are less expensive now. Yep. They're only going to tell you what's more expensive, and I hear some of the comments from the people that have called in. There are things that I've heard repeated in the media over and over again.
Yeah, and I wish I could remember. I didn't write it down because I wasn't planning on using it as like a show thing.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember what was. I'll try to text Amy when she awakens. But what was cheaper on our list from a couple of years ago? I don't remember what it was.
Certainly eggs are, hands down.
Yeah. So there's some things that are cheaper. There's some things, again, like meat, which is more expensive. Donald Trump has taken measures to try to lower the cost of meat. Of course, that's upsetting some farmers. But we've talked about that quite a bit. All right, got to go. 6:56. Joan, very quickly because we're running late. What do you got for the news coming up at 7?
Yeah, a man was found dead in the middle of the street in Christian County over the weekend. We'll tell you what police are saying about his death coming up at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Jones. 656. Amazing news. Force on Force training is back at the Glock store. Now, if you don't remember what that is, it is, as I've been saying, in a word, it is intense. These are real life, live action scenarios that test your marksmanship and split second decision making in real time. Now, I ended up, this is how these things go. I said that it's intense. I actually got shot. These are rubber bullets. These are fake bullets. So I got shot when I went through my Force on Force training. That stung, but I've got to tell you that I learned so much about when the right time to shoot and defend your family is. Because remember, here in Tennessee, the laws have changed. You need to know what those laws are and how does that affect and impact your ability and your right to protect your family. Now, Force on Force training, it is only available at the Glock store. Again, I did it. I loved it. You will too. Each session focuses on your safety, Tennessee gun laws, and knowing when the right time is to shoot. Find them online, glockstore.com/FOF. Slots are selling out. Get in there today. Glockstore.com/FOF. That's glockstore.com/FOF. Dan Mandis here for my buddy Dr. Jeff Horn and all the vision pros at Vision for Life. Maybe you are living with cataracts and you're having a hard time seeing. And maybe you don't even realize how much it is impacting your everyday life. I certainly fell into that category. Now, the good news is these days, fixing your vision, fixing your cataracts, it is a quick fix. It all begins with a personalized consultation with Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. If you've been dealing with blurry or cloudy vision, glare or halos around lights, colors that just don't seem as bright as they used to be, those are all signs of cataracts. And for a lot of folks, even driving becomes difficult and dangerous. Get your vision looked at with Dr. Horn and the Vision Pros at Vision for Life. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-436-2020. 615-436-2020. That website is visionforlife.com. Visionforlife.com. 615-436-2020. Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. Listen, they've been helping out Middle Tennesseans for over 100 years with fair prices, outstanding customer service as well. My home is full of stuff from DT McCall's. Whether we're talking about furniture or appliances, they've been saving Middle Tennesseans money for over 100 years. 4 generations of treating people right with a focus on savings and customer service. What did we spend the last segment talking about? The economy, its impact on your wallet. Now, if you're having a hard time these days, but you need something for your home, check out my friends at DT McCall's in-store or online. In-store, you've got 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. DTMcCalls.com, DTMcCalls.com.
Good morning, 7:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and President Trump is scaling back America's joint military exercises with South Korea, saying in a Truth Social post over the weekend that, as usual, the cost of the exercises is mostly borne by the U.S.
In a Truth Social post, Trump says the drills are costly and send a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to a country he calls unthreatening and respectful. He also noted South Korea declined to join the U.S. war effort against Iran, writing, "They said no thanks."
ABC's Karen Waugh reporting. Now, Trump said it is too late to cancel the exercises, so instead they will be scaled back. Residents of the Nation's neighborhood have filed complaints with police about a homeless encampment in their neighborhood. It's in a wooded area off Trice Drive, and residents say there are others that are popping up too. Fox 17 reports bigger camps, including Old Tent City and Brookmead Park, have been shut down. Metro Nashville police admit that nearly all of the homeless are addicted to either alcohol or drugs, and some of the neighbors report copper having been stolen from their homes and businesses. That copper is sold for cash at recycling facilities. In Hopkinsville, a man was found dead in the middle of a road on Sunday morning. This happened at Jesse Avenue and South Walnut Street. The man was said to be in his 60s. Hopkinsville police say they're investigating, but it is believed that a medical episode may have contributed to that man's death. The Democrat National Committee has voted over the weekend to change the order of the primaries for the upcoming 2028 presidential nominating process. South Carolina is getting prime time. First on the
New
calendar.
Hampshire has long prided itself in its first in the nation status, and they've had it in state law in New Hampshire for 5 decades now, that its primary should come before any other in the country. In the 2024 cycle, the DNC tried to tell states that if they leapfrogged over others, they would be penalized, and that candidates who campaigned in those states could see penalties too. New Hampshire went ahead with its plan anyway. In theory, in 2028, New Hampshire could, again, cite its state law, try to go first, put this new schedule to the test, put the DNC to the test, see if they'll seat the delegates from that state.
That's ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died. You'll remember her as the indestructible cheerleader Claire Bennett on NBC's Heroes, and then as country singer Juliette Barnes on the show Nashville. Her father announced her death over the weekend. No official cause just yet. In May, she spoke about her troubles with addiction to alcohol and painkillers on a talk show.
When I got to the point of looking in the mirror and seeing my eyes had turned yellow and that I didn't recognize my body anymore.
She also suffered from postpartum depression and lost custody of her only child to her former boyfriend, a Ukrainian pro boxer. Hayden Panettiere was just 36. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've got Dow futures pointing down 121, but NASDAQ futures up 151. S&P futures are gaining 8. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Got a problem in the East Bank area this morning. Looks like Church Street between 2nd Avenue North and 1st Avenue North is a mess this morning. It looks like police or fire may be blocking traffic. Look for that this morning to slow you down for sure. Out at B&A, I-40 westbound past Briley Parkway East. You've got a crash reported there. And then one more in Madison on 65 South between, make that just past the Due West Avenue overpass. It's in the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Happy Monday to you. And welcome on in to August 17th. Hassan Piker is still in the news. I don't know if you heard this, Joan. There's people that are out there saying that the Democrat Party needs to completely disconnect from Hassan Piker. Now, Sam says that it's all of the old dogs. I'm quoting this, Joan. The old dogs within the Democrat Party. Sam then went on to say, yeah, everybody over 55. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. Sam just called us old dogs.
Stop.
Spot the lie.
No. But there are younger people within the party as well, the moderates, granted, who are saying that Hassan Piker needs to go. But you know what's interesting? I've got some video on this. So what's interesting, though, did you hear over the weekend, just real quick, that Hassan Piker, and if you don't know who Hassan Piker is, I mean, at this point, I don't know what else to tell you. We cover him all the time. He is like a media personality. He's a pro-socialism, leftist, communist, hates conservatives. My opinion is he hates America. AOC and Abdul El Sayed and all of these commie socialists have been campaigning with Hassan Piker. And this guy has said some of the most revolting things. I mean, I don't want to repeat myself when I talk about Hassan Piker. Every day we talk about some of the nasty things that he said. But here's what's interesting, though, Joan. All of a sudden, I've got some video. All of a sudden, now, of all people, Hassan Piker is calling for America to have a kumbaya moment. Listen to this.
We should also work to build bridges and mend bridges with other folks.
By the way, that pause there is for people to start laughing.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
Like Hassan Piker, really? Is that what you're going to say? Because Hassan Piker is the guy that actually said that he wanted to see the blood of capitalists in the street of New York, if I'm not mistaken. So, this is somebody who he has said a lot of really, really vile things. And at least to me, there's really no way that he can come back from this. But here's the rest of that statement.
Also work to build bridges and mend bridges with other folks. Folks on our left flank, folks on our right flank in the Democratic Party, because the time requires it. Okay? That's it. So you guys, don't be toxic. Please.
Don't be toxic.
He says with a framed front page newspaper of 9/11 on his wall.
He said that America deserved 9/11. I mean, just imagine the vile thing, and he said it. But so you just heard him say that, okay, we need to, build bridges and all of these other. This was Hassan Piker literally 3 weeks ago.
And not just the no more to Trumpism, but no more to the Democrats who compromise, who conciliate, and who betray us. No more to the fascist reactionaries, but no more to the Democrats who will collaborate and cooperate with the fascists, who will fund ICE, who will fund Israel, who will help poison the planet, who will stiff workers and help bosses. We don't need those Democrats anymore.
We should.
It's really confusing because he just said we don't need those Democrats anymore. Now, all of a sudden, with Abdul El Sayed, I mean that race in Michigan, it is it's like neck and neck. It is neck and neck. Now, there was some Fox polling over the weekend because some of you may be saying, well, wait a minute, Dan, I saw on X that polling showed that the Republican in Michigan, Mike Rogers, was pulling ahead of Abdul El Sayed. That was Fox News poll. If you look at some of the other polling, it does show that they are neck and neck. So clearly, the Democrats need as many Democrats as they can, moderate, to the right, to the left, whatever, as they possibly can, because it is a neck and neck race. So, but I do find it funny how you've got Hassan Piker, and all of a sudden now he's Mr. Congeniality, right? What were you saying to me off the air, Sam? Yeah, just real quick.
We can't play it, but you guys you probably haven't seen this clip from another one of his videos back, I think in 2020. It was a elderly Vietnamese woman who had immigrated here as a refugee from the Vietnam War and was talking about the communist Vietnam regime that she lived under. And his response to her testimony, her video was, F you, dude. I mean, seriously, F you, old lady. Shut the F up. You stupid effing idiot, old lady, with your stupid effing gamer headset. Who has effed you harder, America or effing Ho Chi Minh? S my D, old lady.
Oh.
What's wrong with a gamer headset?
He just...
For whatever reason, I'm stuck on that.
He goes on to say, F this refugee, F this South Vietnamese mother effing whatever, like Christian supremacist psychotic effing refugee living in America now and able to talk that S. Why don't you go back and live in effing South Vietnam in the same conditions if that's your perspective? Because she was saying how happy she was to live in the U.S. and how capitalism and free speech mean so much to her. And that was his response.
That's very predictable. That is, and
what a stack of human garbage.
You've got all of these Democrats that are on the road with Hassan Piker, and you can't. You know what? Maybe we should ask. I did a bit on Jerry Green a little bit ago, and running for governor for the state of Tennessee. I'm curious as to where she stands on Hassan Piker. Just like I said, Channel 5 did this puff piece on her. A minute 52 seconds. It was really like a campaign ad. But, they talked about how, Jerry Green is, very much pro, women's health and all of these women's reproductive health, which is obviously she is pro-choice. And then my question is, hey, Channel 5, the logical next question when Jerry Green says that she is pro, reproductive health or, pro-abortion is okay. First trimester is okay. Second trimester is okay. Third trimester is okay, right up to the point of birth, which is what they now want to do in Massachusetts. Obvious question that Channel 5 didn't ask, but I would ask Jerry Green. Maybe Chad will have Ron. Maybe he can ask some of these questions. Okay, so how far of abortion does she stand for? That's number one. Number two, where does she stand on Hassan Piker? Will she call Hassan Piker out? I mean, those are the questions that I would have. I've asked her, by the way, to come on my show. I don't think that she will, but I would love to have her on because I would ask her every single one of those questions.
Well, if you're truly trying to reclaim your party and have some standards of decency and morality back within the Democrat Party, you don't just come out again. You condemn and you ostracize people who not just present themselves in this manner, but have radical communistic intentions for the country.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. That is obvious, but, you see some of these polls, and I don't even know what to say about the polls, but you see some of these polls where they show, majority of Democrats actually view themselves as socialists versus, Democrats. I mean, those kinds of things where they have a positive view of socialism / communism than they do about capitalism. I mean, none of this makes any sense. But, these Democrats, I think that they've been getting their talking points from a guy like Hassan Piker. And by the way, love, if you missed the segment that I did on Friday on this, Thursday or Friday, but this is a guy who has millions and millions of dollars and a massive home in Los Angeles, but the rules don't apply to him. I mean, it is cartoon character hypocrisy. By the way, Scott Jennings has some great points on this coming up. It is 7:16. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Scott Jennings for press secretary.
Street is blocked between 2nd and 1st Avenues by fire department activity. Madison, 65. An accident at the Due West Avenue overpass, and at VNA 40 westbound. Watch for a crash past Bradley Parkway East. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, it's going to be hot today. A little cooler than this weekend, though. 98 for your high. Going to feel like 105 and possible storms this afternoon. So Scott Jennings had this to say. Basically, he's talking about Hassan Piker. He's talking about the Democrats by and large.
I do think Democrats have made a huge mistake with Abdul El Sayed in Michigan. But I think all these races are going to be close. I think the Republicans do have good candidates, and I think the Republicans are going to have plenty of resources, and I think they've got a story to tell. Just Friday, we learned that for the first time in 60 years, prescription drug prices are falling. Every single politician, everybody here has ever worked for us said they were going to do it. Trump and the Republicans finally did it. There is a story to tell, and there is a bright line contrast to be had in this election. It's not good enough just to call them socialists. You have to say what you've done, and you have to say what the impact of their policies would be. But I think we've got enough candidate quality and talent to do that.
I mean, I think that he's right. Scott Jennings is right. And by the way, Sam said Scott Jennings for press secretary. He just signed a huge contract with CNN. And by the way, you got to give it to CNN because look up how much Scott Jennings makes. I mean, a press secretary, a couple $100,000, Joan, is that what the press secretary makes, do you think?
You would think, yeah.
Caroline Levitt, about that?
Yeah.
So Scott Jennings just signed this big contract with CNN. There is no way that he would leave CNN. And by the way, I think that it is better for our side to have somebody like a Scott Jennings on CNN because he does such a good job of putting forward the things that Republicans should be proud of. And
wow.
and I would say kudos. Let me ask you this, Joan. Does CNN deserve props for keeping Scott Jennings on the air because every day he is just kicking the living crap out of the Democrats on that panel?
It would be an admirable move if there were more Scott Jennings. There's only one. There's one Scott Jennings and 195,000 liberal lunatics that they employ. So, I'm not so sure I like the odds there.
Okay, very good.
Prior to his new contract, his annual CNN salary was estimated at $500,000. Following his recent pay bump, industry analysts and media outlets estimate his current CNN earnings to be between $500,000 and $750,000 per year.
And in the meantime, you were right. Caroline Levitt made $200,000, just a little less than that.
Do you know what? If Scott Jennings was looking long term and thinking, okay, I'm going to take a step back, if he wanted to become press secretary, he could take a step back away from CNN. He could become press secretary because ultimately then that launches him into a different territory where that would launch him into, I don't know.
Have his own show on CNN?
Have his own show on CNN. Well, he should have his own show on CNN. They won't do it. But it just brings him to another level. I guess that's what I mean. If he becomes the press secretary, he becomes bigger than what he is now, in my opinion. I think that maybe he'd have a lot of success at Fox News, but I think he's happy where he's at.
Which, by the way, did you see Jen Psaki when discussing her book? I don't know what network it on because it was probably trash. The anchor complimented her talking about how, in the first page you talk about the number one rule of being the press secretary is don't lie.
Is that what she said on page one? Is that what she said?
And then she proceeded to say that you can't do that job for Trump because you have to lie all the time.
Right. Even though she was out there telling us the border was secure and Joe Biden was sharp as a tack. I just want to make sure.
Well, no, Dan, she was going to circle back to those things.
She's going to circle back to those things. By the way, back to just very quickly, Scott Jennings talking about how it's not enough just to, and he's right on this, by the way, it's not enough just to call these Democrat socialists. You've actually got to talk about what their policies will do to your life and our economy and our country. What will their policies do? Open borders. So you're going to have a whole bunch of illegal aliens coming into our country. That's what we saw with, speaking of which, that's what we saw with Joe Biden. So when you have open borders, what happens? suppress wages. Jobs going to be lost to illegal aliens. Crime is going to go up. We know that's going to happen. Housing market. Remember that the housing market, the prices for housing went down because we shipped out a lot of illegal aliens. A lot of others left on their own accord. And so we saw rents go down. That was a story from a few months ago. We saw rents go down here in Nashville, as a matter of fact. So, and by the way, Dan, you're being hyperbolic. No, I'm not. That's what they did during the Biden administration. And that's literally what they want. They have said that's what they want. They want open borders. I don't know what else to tell you. They want to abolish police and prisons. Okay, you want crime in the streets? You want America to become, what Memphis was? Fine, vote in the Democrats if that's what you want to do. It is 722 Super Talk 99.7. Please don't. 722 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open 615-737-9986. 615-737 WWTN. Got a lot more straight ahead. And Joan's got the news at 7:30. Joan.
We'll tell you what Goodwill workers found in a donation bag that caused quite a scare. It's coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here. The summer heat can really wear you out. It can wear anybody out. But if you've been feeling drained, even with the AC on, well, look, it may not just be the heat. 1 in 4 men from 35 to 50 has low testosterone and low levels of energy and motivation and mood and a whole lot more. Low T drains your energy and your motivation, so you don't have the energy for the things that you love. And you might even stop recognizing yourself. So get the answers you need for free at the Low T Center. Now, at Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and get a consultation from licensed providers who specialize in testosterone replacement therapy. Explore a range of peptides and even get a replacement therapy and a whole lot more. Now, you can get more information on GLP-1s, medical weight loss protocols as well. Low T Center has been the #1 name in TRT since 2009 for a reason. So don't spend another day wondering why you don't feel like yourself. Visit fixmylowt.com. As always, tell them Dan told you to reach out. Fixmylowt.com to schedule your free testosterone test today. That's fixmylowt.com. Dan Mandis here, 724 Loan Pronto. If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to. Call my friends at Loan Pronto. You can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. Now, one local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 every single month. And it does get better, by the way. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process either, and no closing cost. You might even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. That is huge. Call Loan Pronto. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much money you can get right now by calling 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780, LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. $726, Dan Mandis here for my friends at Kraft Body Scan. It doesn't really matter how old you are. Sometimes ailments like cancer or heart disease, they can creep up on you. And that is why I love what Kraft Body Scan offers you. A reasonably priced way to get the scans you need to make sure that you're okay, that all is okay. Now, some folks don't want to know, but you need to know. Your family depends on you. Your kids and your grandkids depend on you being healthy, and Kraft Body Scan, they can figure it out for you. Now, right now, Kraft Body Scan, they are offering a great deal just for my listeners. It's a great deal. Listen to this. Couples heart and lung scans valued at over $2,500. Right now, just $99. That's right. Kraft Body Scan is offering you their couples heart and lung scan valued at over $2,500. Right now is just $99. All you've got to do is go to this website, togetherwescan.com. That's togetherwescan.com. Or you can call them, 615-436-1000. No matter how you reach out to them and use promo code DAN50. That's promo code DAN50.
Good morning. It's now 7:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. An 18-year-old is under arrest after a shooting in Lexington, Kentucky over the weekend. Demetrius Griffin being held without bond. He's accused of killing one person and injuring four during summer festivities at a downtown park on Saturday night. The one death was a 16-year-old. Here's the Lexington police chief.
And this is very sad. Very sad. Somebody lost their life. And I know people are looking and reaching for somebody to blame or something to blame. But the bottom line is, if we want to overcome these type of things, it has to be a community effort.
Mayor Linda Gorton asking the community to pray for the wounded. The Montgomery Central High School student who says her teacher showed her nude photos of himself is now suing. Mackenzie Ellithorpe's lawsuit asked for $1.5 million in compensatory damages and $2 million in punitive damages from former teacher Matthew Vetter.
The Montgomery Central High School teacher later resigned and is facing charges in connection to the incident. Ellithorpe is now suing Vetter, the school, Clark's Montgomery County Schools, and the superintendent, who is also Vetter's wife.
Now, that's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter there. She's also asking that case go before a jury. And a Goodwill employee with a sharp eye gets the credit for spotting an explosive device that was packed into a bag of goods donated to the Clarksville store. Channel 4's Braden Ross.
That device turned out to be a military-grade blasting cap, a small, highly sensitive explosive device that's used to start a chain reaction to set off larger explosives. A blasting cap is actually pretty small, looks like a thin metal cylinder with a wire coming out of it. According to Clarksville police, it was found in a green bag someone had donated. A worker recognized what it could be and called 911. Emergency responders evacuated the store and no one was hurt. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office bomb squad confirmed the worker's suspicions and called in Fort Campbell explosive ordnance disposal technicians who secured the device and took it to Fort Campbell to dispose of it.
Now, police aren't saying whether that donation was intentional or if the donor simply didn't know what it was. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. Mark Spain Real Estate. If you're stuck in a home that you cannot sell, call Mark Spain Real Estate. If your open houses, they're being ignored, call Mark Spain. If you're tired of making costly repairs while your house goes unsold, yes, call Mark Spain. Now, their guaranteed offer does keep you in control. You're going to get out of your home fast and with maximum profit. Mark Spain Real Estate has over 72,000 clients and is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. 13,000 five-star reviews cannot be wrong. Mark Spain Real Estate is the company that I recommend for selling your home. So call them right now and get out of your home fast and move on to the next chapter in your life. 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Dan Mandis here. Back to school time means back to busy schedules, homework, and activities. The last thing you need to worry about is your HVAC. So let Busy Bee do that for you with big time savings. Now, this month here, in the month of August, you schedule any HVAC maintenance or repair, and you get a free dryer vent cleaning. That is added safety and one less thing that you've got to worry about. If you buy a new HVAC system, buy a high-efficiency unit, and you'll be entered to win Busy Bee's Healthy Hive giveaway. That is a $1,500 sponsorship for the local school of your choice. You can also gift your favorite teacher or staff member a Beehive membership as well. You can also get a $500 gift card with qualifying whole home repipes or mainline replacements. Bottom line for Busy Bee, they always have multiple ways to save you money. And with approved credit, enjoy 0% financing for 18 months. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Find them online, busybeehvac.com.
Okay, so we have a crash in the East Bank area of Church Street between 2nd Avenue North and 1st Avenue North that has just been cleared away, may still be causing some delays. You've got a crash as well on 65 South in Madison. It's past Due West Avenue overpass. Another one on 24 westbound. It's right at Harding Place in the left shoulder. The left shoulder is blocked off. Highway 100 at Smith Farm Road East. Watch for a crash there as well. And on Edmondson Pike at Nolensville Pike in Paragon Mills, that's an injury crash. Also this morning, just keep in mind that in Dixon, on 40 westbound, the on-ramp from Centerville Dixon, that's exit 172. There's a stalled out semi. It's on the on-ramp. On the right shoulder, blocked off. It's not causing much of a delay, but it could surprise you as you come around that off-ramp. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
736 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, I'm excited. I'm very excited because of my guest coming up at 8:35. You know who we're going to have? Samira Hardcastle. Now, if you folks don't remember who she is, we talked about her last week. She is getting a huge amount of play in media because she quit in grand fashion. She was a teacher. Scott Sapicki actually said that she was one of the best teachers in the state of Tennessee. I would concur. She's won some awards and so forth, and she was teaching for Metro Nashville schools. She went in front of the Metro School Board and she made a lot of accusations as she quit right there in front of the school board, and the whole thing went viral. And she has a lot of allegations against the Metro County School Board, not protecting teachers from bullying parents, inappropriately changing bad grades. If a teacher comes in and they're ticked off, the district, supposedly the higher-ups at her school, forced her to change these bad grades because of the bullying parents, faking data of disruptive students. And one of the things that she says is that it is not safe to teach anymore. And now they've lost a really, really good teacher at Metro Nashville schools. And so we'll talk to her coming up in studio at 8:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I consider her a special guest, and we'll continue with the crisscross handoff on a Tuesday. Now, in the 8 o'clock hour from 8:06 to about 8:25, we're going to have the lawyer on for a guy named Zeb Passmore. Now, who is Zebulon Passmore? It's a crazy story out of Macon County, Tennessee that also went viral. It's also now the subject of a civil lawsuit between Zeb and the Macon County Sheriff over the Macon County Sheriff. In my opinion, they were wrong, and it does look like they violated Zeb's Fourth Amendment rights. If you look at the video, and I believe that I posted it on my social media at Dan Mandis Show, there is body cam video of Zeb as he is on his property, and I got some video here. He is on his property, and he is being approached by the local sheriff because a neighbor accused Zeb of shooting his gun into the air, which, by the way, is against the law. So law enforcement in Macon County was called, and this was the moment that really went viral.
I don't have an ID on me, but I'm not going to ID. I'm not giving you my name and date of birth because there's been no crime. I'll protect my Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment at this point gets put aside when, okay.
She said the Fourth Amendment gets put aside. Did you hear that? That's the moment that went viral. That's the moment where people were like, what? Just memo to Macon County. You might want to teach your law enforcement officers up there that is exactly when you need the Fourth Amendment. People rightly pointing out that dealing with law enforcement is exactly the time when the Fourth Amendment is in play and not put aside. And so that's what made this case so interesting. So yeah, this all started in Macon County about a year ago. Macon County, Tennessee is about 60 miles northeast of Nashville. Zeb Passmore has a property out there, and his neighbor, as I said, accuses him of shooting guns in the air, which, again, as I mentioned, is illegal.
I assume he shot up in the air, but you can see his little target sitting right down there. It's directly in line with us. He shoots every friggin' day when he come out.
All right, so nothing wrong with shooting every day, but the neighbor had said that he and Zeb had been butting heads over the years, and actually they hadn't spoken in 3 years. Now, if I'm the officer, and I'm just going to have to sort of surmise a lot of this because it's like a 45-minute video, but it's clear the neighbor does not like Zeb. They've been butting heads, and they haven't spoken for 3 years. Yet, it seems to me like law enforcement take the neighbor's side over Zeb. They talk to the neighbor, then they go talk to Zeb. And it turns out Zeb wasn't shooting his gun into the air. He says that he shot a couple of shots into the ground to get his chickens out from underneath his car and back into the coop. That's what he did. And I believe Zeb in this case. So now the investigation is on, and they start asking Zeb for his ID. And that is when things get really interesting.
You got your ID with you, sir?
I haven't committed any crime.
Sir, we're out here for a call for service. We have to identify everybody.
Now I wish I had a camera. Your camera's on, sir? Okay, I can't tell if it is. Yours is? Okay. And you are Vincent, and you are Woodard?
Woodard, yes, sir.
Yeah. No, actually, I don't have an ID on me, but I'm not going to ID. I'm not giving you my name and date of birth because there's been no crime. I'll protect my Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment at this point gets put aside when, okay.
I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to resist, but I'm not going to ID. Look, I've done no crime. Listen.
And the thing that I love is Zeb's like, your camera on, what's your name? And then he immediately puts his hands behind his back and he's like, arrest me then. Arrest me now and I'll see you in court. I mean, he's saying, look, you can investigate, but there is no initial crime. So I don't have to show you my ID. And he feels so strongly that, yeah, he's willing to go to jail.
We don't want to arrest you. Listen,
well, you don't want to ID me either because I ain't committed no crime.
Right. We have a right to ID you because we had a call for service out here.
No, sir. She asked if I fired him in the air. So it doesn't matter if I fired shots out on my
So we
property.
get a gun call. You see what I'm saying?
No.
We get a gun call.
No. Am I arrested? What am I arrested for?
Right now you're detained.
Okay. Well, if I'm being arrested for not giving my
Right now we're trying to give you a chance to tell your side and try to ID you that way.
So he's telling them, I didn't fire my gun into the air. I fired it into the ground. There is no crime. Therefore, I don't have to give you my ID because in the state of Tennessee, if you're not being charged with a crime, then you don't have to show ID. And I'm going to ask Zeb's lawyer, his attorney, about that to get into more detail coming up at 8:06. But it does seem like Zeb knew his law. Now, a lot of you might be asking, why doesn't Zeb just show his ID? A lot of you might be saying that Zeb sounds belligerent. I'm sure he's got his reasons. But the reality is that he's not going to show his ID. Are the police being overbearing? Are the police being tyrannical? Or are they just trying to get this whole thing wrapped up so that they can get out of there? Well, regardless as to why Zeb won't show the police his ID or law enforcement his ID, the bottom line is he's not going to. But clearly, Zeb knew his law, and seemingly he knew his law better than law enforcement in Macon County, Tennessee.
I'm not ID.
You're not IDing.
That's what I'm not refusing to ID, but until you give me a lawful reason as to why I have to ID.
Okay. Because we got a call for service.
That call for service is not a lawful reason to ID, sir. Well, no crime's been committed, so I don't know quite what to say.
Let me explain the reason for IDing.
I'm not really wanting to hear it. I'm really not. Are you going to arrest me for not for failure to ID? Because that's a secondary charge. You got to have a crime first, and I have not committed any crime.
I've tried to explain to you why we have to ID you, sir.
I'm trying to explain to you why I'm protecting my Fourth Amendment right. Had I known that it was going to be this way, I would have went and got my phone camera so I could have recorded this. I'm free to go.
Not right now, sir.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What crime are you detaining me for?
It's an investigation.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite parts, actually, when he says, what am I being detained for? What am I being arrested for? And they say nothing. And then he said, well, then get off my property. It's basically what he said, is get off my property. So it seems like Zeb knows what he's talking about as far as the law goes. But again, we'll talk to his attorney. But, a couple of different times during this interaction with the law enforcement, I guess that's the sheriff's office in Macon County, he keeps putting his hands behind his back. And he is basically saying, you know what, if you want to arrest me, go ahead and arrest me. And so they cuff him, I guess, and they put him in the back of the car for failure to identify. No actual crime as far as firing the gun in the air has been proven, or even firing a gun at the neighbor. I mean, he says, I shot my gun into the ground, and you have not proven otherwise. So then the body camera, this is also very interesting. I want you to listen very close to this. The body camera captures the moment that these officers, these law enforcement officers, start talking about possible charges. I've got that part of the story coming up next. It is 7:45. Time to check the roads on WTN.
You are crushing this bit right here. Found an accident past Bradley Parkway East. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, it's going to be really hot today. A few clouds, high of 95, going to feel like 105, and possible storms. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Talking about Zeb Passmore out in Macon County, and he had this interaction with local law enforcement, and essentially they arrested him for not showing them his ID, which is not a law as far as I can tell here in the state of Tennessee. They have to charge you with a crime, then they have to show you have to show them the ID. They didn't have that initial crime. But this is really important, and this is part of what Zeb has posted on his social media, his YouTube page.